alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, our dear brothers and sisters, to our continuous program, Spiritual Insight. I apologize regarding yesterday. There was a few technical issues with the internet, and therefore we were not able to commence the program as normally. However, inshallah, I have, with the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we shouldn't have any disruptions, and we should have the program going on as smoothly as possible. I would like to welcome our guest, Sheikh Jafar Imran. Welcome, dear brother Jafar. How are you?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, our dear viewers, and you, brother Faizul Hassan. How are you doing today?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine, brother Jafar. How are you doing today?
Alhamdulillah, I'm also fine. I'm currently in Moshi. I came here to visit some Mu'mineen, then I go back to Moshi. How is everything over there?
Everything is, Alhamdulillah, very good. I was just apologizing to our viewers about yesterday, what happened, the technical issues we had, internet issues. So the control room decided to cut us off because it was not effective to run the program. However, there was a few things we had discussed yesterday, and we weren't able to finish them off. So I was hoping that maybe if you could recap and give us more information about table manners. As you understand, Brother Jafar, that table manners in Islam is very important. How we eat our food, how we should, what are the manners of eating food, etc. I would like to know as well myself. I know a few things about this, but I'm sure the viewers and myself, those that are not aware of Islamic table manners, will understand from your tongue as to what it is and why we should follow them. So without any delay, I would like you to start this, and then once you finish it, we'll come towards the other parts of the program as well.
Okay. Okay, without taking much time, inshallah, I would like us to start the table manners. I think it is a very good thing because we are in the month of Ramadan. Because we are in the month of Ramadan, it is a very pleasing thing for us to gain, knowledge about akhlaq. Because we've been talking about several things. We've been talking about, the akhlaqiyat. We've been talking the moral values. We've been talking about fiqh. We've been talking about what was that issue? What was that issue? That we've been talking about, ruh and so on.
Yes, we talked about controversial issues.
We've been talking about controversial issues without forgetting that a lot of people do israf in this holy month. When you see, like in this region of East Africa, we have our own local food stuff, like biryani, pilau, and so on. We have ugali. But during the whole month of Ramadan, somebody just tells you, you know what? In this month of Ramadan, I should only buy rice and wheat flour. Why should we do that? Because no, we have to eat specific food, we have to do this, we have to do that. A lot of people, they go and take loans from the people, they take debts from people, from even shops, just for them to satisfy their stomach during this month whole month of Ramadan. Why? Because they feel their body lost a lot of energy. They forget that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He placed for us sawm, when He placed for us fasting, is to guide them, to balance our body system, to balance the food that we've been taking in. It has both spiritual and physical benefits to our body and to our spirit. But a lot of people forget. And they tend to do a lot of israf in this holy month, whereby they had to use minimum of expenses when it comes to food. So, and when it comes to the table as well, they spend a lot of money to buy food stuff, and when it comes to table, they don't know how to be how to observe Islamic manners when they come to the table. So I thought it's very beneficial. It is very beneficial if we talk about table manners in general. And each segment, it has a hadith, it has a riwayah behind it. So why should we do wudu before before the meal, before taking the meal? Why should we say Bismillah? Why should we? All of them are here, and Alhamdulillah, our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and their imams, they explain to us very well. So in getting the money, for us to get the wealth, to get the money to buy food product, we should buy it in halal way. We should use minimum of our wealth when it comes to food issue, food stuff. And on the other side, when we come to the table, we should also observe table manners. So we start with table manners that states, الوضوء قبل الطعام وبعده. We should take ablution before and after having our meal. Why should we take ablution? You know, a lot of people they think that ablution that we do should be it's only necessary, it's only wajib when we do wajib acts. And we say in our Islamic system of law, it has been divided into 5 segments. We have wajib, which is compulsory and obligatory. We have makruh, which should be avoided. We have haram, which should be totally avoided. And we have we have mustahab, which is recommended acts. And on the other side, we have what we have mubah. So when we are having our meal, it is mubah. You are neither getting thawab nor getting haram, nor getting that. On the other side, when we walk, just a normal walk from one place to another. When we sleep, when we take shower, everything it is been false. Everything like these acts, which are neither haram or they are not wajib, they fall under mubah. It can fall also under makruh, like spitting anyhow. It can fall under mustahab, like doing ziyarah. And on the other side, we have mubah. So, when it comes to the manners of bedding, when you want to sleep, when it is bedtime, you want to sleep, it is mubah for us to sleep. Are you with me, brother? It is mubah for us to sleep. We are not getting thawab, nor are we getting done. We are not getting, it's not written anything. But when we take ablution before we go to our bed, before we sleep, and then we die along the night, we get thawab. We get thawab as Shaheed, as a person who died in the way of Allah, as a matter. So when it comes to the food, we also have the same. We have also the same action that we should observe, like taking wudu before having our meal and after having our meal. Why should we do so? It is mustahab also. But why should we do so? The Holy Prophet explains, and in Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the Holy Prophet says, Al-wudu qabla al-ta'am wa ba'dahu min fil fat. Taking ablution before having the meal and after having the meal, it makes a person avoid poverty. It keeps poverty away from us. Just wudu. It only to go and have your meal, and after having your meal, take another wudu. It keeps away poverty from you. That is why. So we say taking ablution. We say taking ablution before and after having our meal. It avoids or it keeps poverty away from us. That is one. That is the first movement. We go to the second one, saying Bismillah. Bismillah al-Basmala. In Arabic it says al-Basmala. So saying Bismillah. Bismillah, what benefits does it have? And Sadiq alayhi salam, Sadiq says, قال من نسي يسمي على كل دعوة. Whoever forgets to say Bismillah in every color of food. You have your roti over there. You have your soup over there. You have your jalebi somewhere. You see all these are colored food. You have your rice over there. Whichever food color you have, saying Bismillah, it keeps the food, it gives the food barakah. It blesses the food. So you'll be eating a blessed food by you saying Bismillah. And if you forget, what should you do? Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, Man nasiya yusammi ala kulli law. Whoever forgets to say Bismillah in every color of food, فَلْيَقُلْ, in the middle you have to say, Bismillah ala awwalihi wa akhirih. Bismillah for the start and for the end. You are in the middle. You've already taken 2 minutes. You've already taken your dates. You've already taken your rice. So the jalebi is there just looking at you. The shirin, the sweets are there, and on the other side you're having fruits and you have juice. So you are in the middle of your food, of your meal. You forgot to say Bismillah at the beginning. So you have to say Bismillah ala awwalihi wa akhirihi. As you continue, then if you want to take the next color of the food, you have also to say Bismillah. 2 more things, brother, and I'm done. 2 or No, we have a lot of them. So I'm going to read two. Then if you have any question, you can ask. إطالة الجلوس, prolonging your seat, your sitting. It's not that you just finish your food and you start running without even swallowing whatever you're having in your mouth. You just look, you're just going to wash your hands in the sink. No, إطالة الجلوس. So you have to sit a long time. Why should we do so? Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam says, Atilul julus, prolong your sitting. So you sit for a very long time when you have your own meal. For you to chew your food well. On the other side, also it has its own effects on the digestive system. But Imam says, Atilul julus ala al prolong your seat when you are on the table. Why? فَإِنَّهَا سَاعَةٌ, verily it is a time, لَا تُحْسَبُ مِنْ أَعْمَارِ, it is a time that is not counted in your age. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala planned for you that you are going to live for 59 minutes or for 59, let me say for 59 minutes, and you decided to have your meal and to sit on your table for 15 minutes. So your 59 minutes will be paused for you to have your meal and then it will continue. So let me say 60 minutes. Allah will compensate for you another 15 minutes. So you'll be having 65 minutes for you, 65 minutes, 65 minutes, no, you'll be having 75 minutes of your life. That is another benefit that you get. So, brother, do you have any question concerning these things that I mentioned? Do you want to add anything before I continue?
Yes, I would. It's an interesting topic that you raised. For example, how to eat, the manners of eating. For example, what food you should eat first with. As I'm sure you mentioned that you should start with a pinch of salt at the tip of your tongue,
Yes.
and when you finish
Yes.
eating the food, again a pinch of salt with it. And
Yes.
apparently, there is a system happens in the body. The digestive system starts. So the nerves
Mm.
of our digestive system that we have in our stomach, in our intestines, they all react
Yes.
to that salt. So the salt does something, it sends a shock to the digestive system. It releases acids, it releases a lot of things. And then when we start eating and chewing, it is far more better. Also, I think what you forgot to mention is that if we don't eat with salt, we don't start with a pinch of salt, then there is an illness which individuals can fall into. I wanted to share that with you, Brother Jafar. It is called, I forgot the name of this illness. Maybe we can check it on the internet, or our viewers can check and give us a call and let us know. The illness is called, what happens is you lose color in your skin. So sometimes you see patches of different colors of your skin, white, brown, black, yellow. So it'll be different patches in over your body. One
Yeah.
of the reasons of having those patches is because, or discoloration, is because of not having salt in the beginning and in the end of your meals. So this is
Masha.
something that
So
we
when
have
it
from the
bend the
riwayat.
hadith of Imam.
Yes. So this is one of the
Masha.
riwayats of Ahmad.
La,
There's a whole big topic, Brother Jafar, on Tibbi Islami. In Tibbi Islami, we get to discuss and learn. There's about 13,000, if I'm correct, 13,000 riwayat hadiths from our Aimatarin and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that how to cure the body, how food itself is used as a darman, a cure to heal a lot of illnesses, sicknesses, and diseases within our bodies. And one of the most effective food are fruits. Fruits have the best way of curing a human being, and then herbs themselves. Herbs themselves, as well, if they're taken according to some instructions, they also cure the body. Unfortunately, the Western medicine, or we can say the classic medication, or the doctor of the medicine that we have, has forgotten a lot of these kind of healing techniques that we find. I'll give you an example, Brother Jafar. There was in Iran, we have this doctor. I'm sure you're aware of him. He lives in your city, well, the city you study in, Mashhad. Dr. Tabrizian. I'm sure you've heard of him. So he's very famous in Iran, and not only in Iran but outside of Iran, where foreigners also come and see him. And he's not a doctor of the normal classic doctors, but Tibb Islami, doctor of Tibb Islamic. I know a case of one person who had a child. This child was always vomiting. So whatever he would eat or she would eat, the stomach would not accept the food. It will always vomit the food out. And they didn't know what to do with the food. They didn't know how to cure the food. They took this person to various doctors, hospitals. They sent him to the experts, and none of them were able to diagnose the issue with the child. Now, there's a lot of things in medicine that we have lost. One of those things that we have lost in medication is this, that the body has four temperaments, and I think I discussed this previously in our program as well, that our body has four temperaments. Now, what does it mean by temperaments? Temperament means that there are four types of conditions your body can be in. So the two main conditions of your body, or states that your body can be in, is either hot or cold. So you'll find someone as a hot-headed person, that's just an example, or you find someone as a very cold hearted person. This is an example I'm giving. So the person is either very cool or very hot. And then in during those states, you can either be dry or wet. What does that mean? So you could be hot and wet or hot and dry. Either you can be cold and wet or cold and dry. So these are four types of states, but the best is someone who's in between, neither too hot, neither too cold. Someone in between that state. So the food that we eat, they also have an effect on our temperaments. So if someone is very hot, they will have hot type of illnesses. If someone is very cold, they will have very cold type of illnesses such as flus, influenza, viruses. They will always be sneezing. So those are cold type of temperaments. And those that are hot, they will have skin allergies, they will have blisters in the skins, or boils coming out from the skins. Those are hot temper kind of temperament.
Yes.
So unfortunately, the new medicine medication that we have, they don't understand these type of states, brother Jafar, and therefore they do not understand that not all medications are beneficial. Some medications will have a negative effect, even though the cure of the medicine is to cure you, but there are side effects. Those side effects are caused by the temperament of a human being, and this is something that I think the modern medications have forgotten about this. Our topic is not about medication. Our topic is about table manners. But I wanted to bring this up was because that every food that we eat has an effect on the body and the soul. And that is why Islam has, why there are some halal food and there are some haram food. And even in the halal food, it's been said recommended to eat which halal food more and which halal food less. For example, one of table manners I would like to add, Brother Jafar, is not eating too much meat. There's a riwayat from Amir al-Mu'mineen, do not make your stomachs the grave of animals. So it's a very important thing. Do not make your stomach the grave of animals. So what is Imam trying to say? Do not eat too much meat. Eat meat as a necessity that your body requires as a protein, but not to eat it too much. But also then we have another riwayat from our Prophet of Islam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he says that there should not be 40 days passing that you do not eat meat. And if you do not eat meat in 40 days, then someone has to recite the adhan and the aqamat in the person's ear. So there's a spiritual dimension to this as well, Brother Jafar, that if someone who doesn't eat for 40 days meat, then someone has to recite in his ears on the right and left the aqamat and the adhan itself. Why is that? Well, there are spiritual dimensions. So every food that we eat has a spiritual connection to us. For example, we have a riwayat of a very of an arif, a mystic, where he was inflicted by seeing the spiritual matters. So he would see the spiritual personality of each human being. So he would probably see some human being as a pig, or some human being as a lion, or some human being as a mixture of some different animals. And he was very afflicted by this. He didn't want to see that. So he asked someone, how can I remove this vision of mine? So one of the other mystics said, there is a way I can explain you how you can lose this sight, the spiritual insight that you have. He said, how? So the technique that he was given was that make a barbecue of cow's meat. Cow's meat, by making meat of cow's meat and making barbecue and just smelling it. By smelling the smoke and the fragrance of that meat being cooked, you will lose your vision. So this says that eating certain types of even halal meat has an effect on your spiritualities. Because our program is called Spiritual Insight, we are discussing these issues. And one of these issues you've said, Brother Jafar, is that not filling your stomach. The stomach shouldn't be filled to the maximum. There should be three portions to it: some air inside it, some water inside it, and some of the food itself inside the stomach itself. This is very important for not just for the health of the body, but also for our spirituality. Where you would realize sometimes if you've made a mistake. I mean, I've made this mistake in my past where I've eaten too much. Then I've found that I've been very lazy in my ibadat, in my worship or connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The reason is because it becomes very heavy on the body itself. Brother Jafar, have you ever experienced this type of thing, issue?
Okay, just to add on what you mentioned about eating meat and also consuming meat on our daily basis, it makes our hearts to be hard, difficult, to be merciless. Us having meat every time, every day, it makes our heart to be merciless. You'll be seeing a person get injured, but you don't have any mercy. You don't feel anything in your heart. You don't feel any sympathy. Some of the people are saying in Pasha, because in Iran people eat a lot of meat, that's why they don't have mercy to look after the issue of Palestine. It's like, what is the connection between these two? So I had no. If we consume meat on your daily routine, on your daily meal, it makes your heart to be stiff and it makes your heart to be merciless. You won't feel any more sympathy. So, not eating meat for 40 days, it has its own spiritual effect. Having meat every day, it has its own spiritual effects as well. So, you elaborated very well on the issue of salt. And I just want to add value to whatever you said in support with a hadith of the Holy Prophet telling Imam Ali. So the Holy Prophet was telling Imam Ali sallallahu alayhi Ya Ali, O Ali, iftah bil milk. Start with your food, with your meal, start your meal with salt. I mean just a little salt. وَاخْتَتِمْ بِهِ. And when you are done with your meal, have a little salt. Why? فَإِنَّهُ شِفَاءٌ مِنْ سَبْعِينَ دَاءٍ. Because it is a cure for 70 types of diseases. For 70 types of illness. 70. He mentioned here 2 or 3 diseases. He says junun. Junun is madness. Madness? You say madness. Ivanegi.
Insanity.
Madness. Yeah. The second disease is judam. Judam, you've seen some people, their fingers getting cut from here. It is a disease. You see, they don't have this finger tip, they don't have nail, because their finger are cut from here. That's a disease. Why? Because they don't consume they don't consume salt before and after them. So the Holy Prophet mentioned 70. So in the book of Makarim al-Akhlaq, I think, there, or Mizan al-Hikm, there it has mentioned all the diseases. But here, in this hadith, it has just mentioned few. The first one is madness. The second thing is judam, finger issue. The third one is baras. Baras is skin disease that you just mentioned. It will have some points like in your body. Or what you have, throat pain, sore throat. This one you also avoid it by having salt before having a meal and after taking a meal. What you have, Dars is molars. This molars. Molars and premolars, in Arabic they call it adras. What you have, the pain, the molars, teeth pain, you can avoid it by having what? By having salt before and after the meal. What you have, stomach ache. So we have junun, madness, we have judam, finger diseases. We have baras, skin disease. We have waj'ul halq, throat pain. We have waj'ul abras, molars and premolars pain. That is 6 or 5. We have also 6 1 that is mentioned here is waj'ul stomach ache. You can avoid those 6 diseases. It can cure it prevents 70 type of diseases, but we just mentioned 6 that is almost known by everyone. So we can avoid those diseases by just having salt and little salt before having a meal and after taking a meal. Some people will ask, can we take milk salt before breakfast? Breakfast is always sweet things like milk. It has sugar in it. We said no problem with that because we are not taking a bunch, a handful of salt. Just a little bit of it. Just take a little bit of it before you take your breakfast. Here we are talking about meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So another table balance, the 5th one, and yakula mimma yalihi. Somebody, if you are, in Swahili culture, I don't know, in Western culture, I think it's not like our Swahili. In Swahili culture or Arab culture, they normally put food in their big plate, called sinia. Sini. We normally serve our food there. Our food, we normally serve our meal in that sini that is surrounded by at least 3 people and at most around 10 people. It depends on the size of that plate. So if we are having congregational meal, Jamaat, we are taking food together in one big plate. We should observe some manners. Like here, the Holy Prophet says we have to eat whatever it is closer to us, whatever it is near to us. Not stretching, somebody stretches his arm to take something which is there. Because I know our viewers, some of them are Swahili, some of them are Arabs, so they get benefit from this. إذا وضعت المائدة بين يدي الرجل, if the food is served in front of a person, a human being, a rajul here is just a man, but also women they have that, so we can say in front of a person, فليأكل مما يليه, he should eat whatever is close to his hand. ولا يتناول مما بين يدي جليسه. This is the Holy Prophet saying, and he shouldn't take whatever it is closer to the person who's seated next to him. Somebody stretching his arm and taking whatever is closer to that person, that one is not accepted. That is the fifth table manner. The 6th one, and it's very common, عدم الأكل باليد اليسرى. We should avoid taking food with our left hand, taking the meal direct from the plate to our left to our mouth, using the left hand. We should avoid it. Why? Because Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam said it is makruh. It's something which is not good. It should be avoided. If somebody is a left hand, he cannot even take with right hand. Somebody will ask me if I had a disease, then my right hand was amputed. You can have it with your spoon, no problem, but with the left hand. Also, if you are a left hand, you cannot take meat with your right hand. Take it with the spoon, no problem in that. But taking it directly, it's not accepted. Even when you eat food like banana, it's good. It's highly recommended to have it with your right hand. Yes, brother, do you have anything to add on?
Yes, I wanted to add also about the effects of eating with utensils. There's a riwayat that why we should eat with our hands. What's the reason for eating with hands and not with spoons, much, knives, forks, and even sticks? So you will notice, Brother Jafar, as something that I'm sure you can observe, that there's a hadith that a butcher shouldn't always be butchering all the time. I've seen in my experience, those that are butchers, they are very sharp with the tongues because they're cutting things a lot. And their personality becomes very sharp in the sense of merciless. And that's why it is recommended those that are butchers that do zib and all these things, they should have some other profession other than just butchering animals. And they should take intervals in breaking that profession. The reason is because whatever you do has a spiritual effect on your spirit and on your physical body's personality and characteristics. Now, if someone only eats with a spoon, they will have a spoon type of characteristics. If someone eats with sticks, you will see the cultures. how they are. Look at Chinese culture, the the China area culture, South Korea, Japan. All of these cultures eat with sticks. You will see their personalities. You will see their characteristics. You will see the how why those eating with those sticks. What kind of personality they have. They're very picky, very precise. The culture is very into nitty gritty stuff. And then if you look at the Western culture, they eat with spoons, knives, and forks, and how they behave in that. But someone who eats with the hands is very humble, very down to earth, and very loving. So these are the characteristics that come out when you eat with hands. I'm not saying that you should always eat with hands as well. You should have a mixture in the way you eat with the utensils. So not only this, Islam is so precise in a lot of things. It's trying to help the spirit. By helping the spirit, the way we behave in our life, the way we repeat things, that affects the soul. It's all about the soul. The reason why there are some things that are halal and haram is to do with the soul. It's why, what about the soul? Because we want our soul to progress towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The whole aim of Mahi Ramadan, this month, the holy month of Ramadan, was that we refine our manners. And it's a very interesting topic you brought up, Brother Jafar, about table manners. That when we're eating, we shouldn't jump into food and start eating. We have to have patience and this fineness in perhaps drinking a bit of water, warm water. Even we have from all medicine, they say that doctors say that drinking warm water helps the digestive system to start. So salt, warm water, like this, if we do these kind of activities before eating, it not only prolongs your life, but it's easy for the digestive system. It keeps illnesses away. It keeps the doctor away from treating your illnesses because you don't have any illnesses. And therefore, when we come to the table, we should come with respect. We should come with the fact that just because our stomach cannot feel pain like our physical outer body can, but it can be very heavy for the digestive system. We should treat it with delicacy and with sensitivity. Although the stomach doesn't complain, the digestive system doesn't really make a fuss. Its job is to digest. But we should make it easy as much as possible we can so that we can live longer and live healthier. These are two things that I would like myself, yourself, and our viewers to take from this program when we start ending the program. We still got a bit of time on ahead. But I wanted to share a few things about fruits. So we were discussing that each food has a characteristics. The best of all foods, according to our Ayma Tyreen, is fruits. And out of those fruits, there are five fruits that are very important. One is the anar. So anar is called the pomegranate in English. Pomegranate is considered as one of the five heavenly fruits, divine fruits. Anar, and there's many benefits of anar. We don't need to go into the juziyats of anar, but anar is a fruit that if you do eat, it not only cleanses the soul, but it gets rid of hypocrisy in a human's heart. So anar has this spiritual effect. So there are many spiritual effects on the characteristics, on the personalities, and also on the health itself. As you understand, anar, if you look at the anar, it purifies the blood. It's a blood purifier. It cleanses the blood as well. And also, while it's cleansing the blood as well, it's also cleansing the soul as well when you eat anar. Now, if we move on to, for example, quince. Quince in Farsi we call beh. I don't know what you call it in Arabic, beh, but in English we call it quince. Now, there's a riwayat from Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam that whoever eats quince for 40 days, he will have a bravery inside his body, in his soul, in his characteristic that no other person has. So if you have a characteristic of being a coward, and you're a coward, you're scared of a lot of things, then the best way to sort this out is by eating quince. And if you eat it for 40 days non-stop, then you will build those characteristics of being a brave person, a courageous person, being able to speak out confidently, have the confidence to speak in a big assembly, be able to give a speech or give a lecture or a presentation. So each fruit has a characteristic, and we should consume those fruits to spiritually grow and physically grow medically also fix ourselves. So these were some things that I wanted to share with you, Brother Jafar. And we could probably make a whole complete program on this aspect about the effects of food on our spirituality and our characteristics. There's also another riwayat we have from one of our imams, I can't recall, but what I remembered is this, that if you are a hot-tempered person, if you get angry really quickly, it could be because of the food that you are eating. The food has an effect on your characteristics. And if, for example, you're a person who doesn't have a lot of energy, you're just too cold, emotionally, you're not there. Maybe your spouse is not happy with the way you're behaving, you're not acting as a warm person, as a person who would be warm and emotionally available. It could be because of the food that you are eating. So personality and characteristics change by the type of food you eat. And we see this, for example, the best example I could give our dear viewers is coffee or tea. You will feel that once you have a cup of coffee, you have a different kind of state of feeling. This is the best example I can give. For example, it's the liquid that you drink, coffee or tea. And those that do not have tea, for example, sometimes it becomes a habit as well. If you don't have tea every day, you will have a headache, you will feel down. So foods do have an effect on your personality and characteristics. I'm not an expert, I'm not a nutritionist where I can go deep into this, but I'm sure we have nutritionists who do understand this aspect, and especially those that have studied both medications, the classic medicine and the herbal and traditional and Islamic medicine as well. They have a full understanding of what it is and how it is to eat different types of food. So therefore, if you are having some family issues or personality disorders, food could also be an effective thing. And not just that, we have, for example, narration from Imam Hussain alayhi salam on the day of on the day of Ashura in Karbala. What he said, he said, the reason why you are killing me or you want to kill me is because you have eaten haram. Now, what does he mean by haram? They weren't eating na'uzubillah, astaghfar, pig or swine or animals that are haram. What he meant was the spiritual effect of eating haram food. So eating too much haram food, as we said, hardens the heart. It hardens the heart that it would even make you ready to kill your imam of your time. So this is a question for us as brothers and sisters that follow the deen of Islam. Are we eating something that is hindering our path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our path to recognizing our imam of our time? These are the questions, and therefore, hopefully, in this month of Ramadan, we pay attention to these kind of things, and we make sure that we do not go out of balance in eating the food. Everything starts from the stomach. Brother Jafar, I don't know if you remember, there's a story about two prophets or two brothers, and one of them lost his prophethood because of food. Have you heard of this, Brother Jafar? Have you heard of this riwayat? I can't recall it, but I remember I was taught this some time ago. There were two prophets, or there were two brothers, and they were being tested. And one of them lost his prophethood because of food, just by choosing food or something like this. And then we have another story from Nabi uh, Zakaria. In English, we say Prophet Zachariah. He Iblis came to him. Shaitan came to him in a form and said to Iblis, he said to them, I want to give you some advice. Now I forgot the reason why he wanted to give him advice, but he said to Zachariah that I see that because of eating a bit too much food, you feel a bit lazy in doing your worship. So you can see that there's a hadith and riwayat about this, that if you eat too much, it has a negative effect on the soul. We already repeated this. Not only that, it also increases excessive lust, excessive shahwat. So if you're feeling that you want to do zina or any other kind of immoral act, it could be because you're eating too much. Eating too much also causes lust, and it's an uncontrollable lust. It produces shahwat in the body, lust in the body that we need to then release it. And therefore, if we maintain a balanced diet, it keeps our personality It keeps us away from sins as well, such as big sins, major sins like adultery, zina, those type of things as well. Sorry, brother, if you want to add something into this, please do so.
MashaAllah. One more hadith. It is said, ما أكل النبي متكئا حتى مات. The Holy Prophet, he never ate while leaning back, relaxed, in a relaxed manner, till he died.
Uh,
Why? The Holy Prophet says, لا تأكل متكئا كما يأكل الجبارون. We shouldn't eat while leaning back like the way arrogant people eat. So some arrogant people, they are just relaxed, seated, then they are just having their meal. Shouldn't do that. Maybe we have to respect it because it is the one that gives us energy to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is the one that gives us energy to go and ask and seek bounties subhanahu wa ta'ala and do halal things. So here, brother, as we are talking about, having little bit, one of the animals is narrating that we should divide our stomach into three parts: for food, water, and air. We shouldn't fill the stomach fully till we can't take till we can't take water. We have to divide our stomach into three. The second hadith that can help us is that one of the imam says we should take food while we are hungry, while we need the food. And we should leave the food while our stomach is not yet full. We should leave the food while we still have an urge of having the meal. We should now stop having stop eating the food. We shouldn't eat the food till now alhamdulillah I'm full, I can't even walk. No, we shouldn't do that. And on the other side, you said it raises a lot of shower, it keeps our shower high. If we take a lot, if we eat a lot in the morning breakfast, we'll go to our working place, to our school while we are kind of dizzy and lazy. If we take a lot of food during our lunchtime, then there it will need us to sleep. It will make us lazy and we shall feel dizzy sleeping. If we take a lot of food at night, we cannot wait for what? For night prayer, for night prayers. We cannot pray. We wake up. Even for sometimes for morning prayer, we cannot wake up. Why? Because our stomach is very full. We cannot even shake ourselves while we are on the bed or while we are sleeping. So we should avoid taking food to an extent that we feel our stomach is full. No, we should not do that. Our imams and our prophet was not doing so. Why should we do so? Brother, we've talked a lot about issue of table manners. I think it's good right now if we go to the second segment of our program, talking about fiqh and the fiqh acts like ruku and sujood, the meaning of them in our daily prayers. Yes, brother, you can have it. You can start the discussion, then inshallah we'll join talking.
yes, I wanted to discuss how to improve our spirituality, and two main worships, or one main worship, is sujood. Sujood, prostration, is the most important type of ibadah that one can do, and I'm sure we, our brothers and sisters, and we have done prostration in the nights of Laylatul Qadr. It's the most effective ibadah, it's the most important ibadah, and it's the one that gets you most closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. First, I would like to tell you the benefits of sujood. The main first benefit of sujood physically is that it increases your lifespan. So if you have a less lifespan and you want to increase your age, then do more sujood. And the sujood helps your health, and it helps your increase your life expectancy. So this is one thing that I would recommend, brothers and sisters, those that feel perhaps they wasted their time in their life where they were doing idle things. They weren't utilizing the time much, and now they feel that age is catching up and they're getting old, and they're not able to feel as though they can finish Allah's work that Allah gave them. Then I would recommend you go in sujood. Do sujood before you leave this world, and try to do as much as sujood. And one reason is, you can see the example of Nabi Nuh. One of the reasons why Nabi Nuh lived such a long life was he did a lot of sujood. And after the floods, we have riwayats and hadiths. I'm sure, Brother Jafar, you can vouch for this, that Nabi Nuh would do his, one of his sujood would be for 5 years, 10 years, he would just be in sujood. And once the angel Jibril came to know, angel Jibril, not the angel of death, Israel, came to see him, and he said to him that, Ya Nuh, it's time to go. So Nuh says, let me do one sujood. He says, no, do you know that during the end of times, the time near the end of times, there will be people who will make big buildings. And then Hazrat Nuh says, oh, they must be living for 2,000-3,000 years. He says, no, they will only live for 60 or 70 years. And they will be only living for this long. So Hazrat Nuh was surprised. He said, I would spend one sujood for 60, 70 years. And they will make tall buildings, tall estate buildings. So as you can see, sujood has an effect on the soul, on the body. Now, how one should do a sujood? Well, there are 5 things that should be touching the floor. So the floor, these are the forehead, the palms of your hand, your knees, and the fingers of your feet. They should be touching the floor. And it should be in the state of sujood. And this should not be for men. The elbow shouldn't be touching the floor. It should just be the arms, and your arms should be raised, and the palms should be touching the floor. So this is how a sujood is done, or prostration is done to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This sujood has a lot of secrets. One of those secrets is why all of our Aimai Tahirin left this dunya in the state of sujood. Amir al-Mu'mineen was shaheed in the month of Ramadan. We hear his shahada, and we hear that the sword was struck on his head while he was in the state of prostration. There is something about this that we need to understand. And therefore, if you want to have your prayers accepted, have a sincere sujood. And you should do sujood even before and after the prayer. For example, when you're free as well, just have a musalla ready whenever you want, just to say thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just go in sujood. We have a book of Ayatullah Mutahiri, may Allah give him heaven, a place in heaven, that he wrote a book about this, the importance of sujood, the effects of sujood. I know that we have a short time, and therefore I don't want to go further into this, but sujood and ruku are very important ibadahs. A lot of hajats get accepted in the ruku state and the sujood state. You can say anything in sujood. You don't even have to say anything while in the state of sujood. For example, you can just recite a dua. You could just talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You could say some dhikr in sujood. You can be free in sujood. Yes, Brother Jafar.
Just to add on what you said, it is said that sujood is the lowest part, is the lowest action that somebody can do. While you are standing, people can stand. While you are doing a ruku, somebody can do that as well. But sujood is the lowest level of somebody can, we are trying to make ourselves closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are trying to degrade ourselves in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. By sujood, we can have that level. It is the lowest, it is the lowest action that someone can do while we are prostrated. It is the lowest part, or lowest level that somebody can go. Somebody can bow down, but that one is not enough. If you prostrate, that is the lowest level of degrading yourself towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it is the highest position in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why we have Imam Sajjad. He is called Sajjad because he was the leader of prostrators, the people who prostrate. He was having a long sujood. Because even, brother, I've experienced it from my own side, my own experience. I have my own experience with sujood. Whenever I feel depressed or stressed, I do one sujood, one. For around 2 minutes or 3 minutes, I'm just down there, doing sujood, just for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. If I come back from the prostration, wallahi, I feel My stress is gone. And if I normally find solution. I just go down there, subhanallah, subhanallah. I just think of whatever bounties, of whatever blessings that I have from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I tend to forget whatever I was going through, the stress that I had. It goes just by prostrating. You can continue.
Yes, Brother Jafar. So sujood and ruku have their own special effects on our body, on our soul, and on making sure that our du'as that we have, those supplications that we want to make to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have them accepted, these acts of worship are very important. And you shouldn't just bound your sujood just for the salat. You should do sujood outside of salat, as I mentioned as well, on different places. For example, if you go to a nice tourist spot, a mountain, a scenery, do sujood there. Say thanks to Allah. Because remember, the reason why Iblis Mal'un went to such a high position is because he did a lot of sujood. It was because of his sujood he went to the fourth heaven, the fourth dimension, where in the heavens he was with the angels. It was because of this very sujood. So if you want to progress in your life, if you want anything to reach in your hands, is through sujood. And especially for Muslims, it's a shame that we call ourselves Muslims and we don't do a lot of sujood. And especially if you're a Shia follower of Ahlebait, the follower of this holy house, they did a lot of sujood. They did so much sujood. And we are the ones that cry for Amir al-Mu'mineen and Imam Hussain al-Islam. And all of their lives, you will see that they died in the condition of sujood. So we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us the tawfiq that when we depart from this world, we depart in a form of ibadah. Either we're in the condition of qunut, or in the condition of ruku, or in the condition of sujood. This is the best way to leave this world, Brother Jafar. And this is the best successive way to leave, that you are in a good state, not in a state, na'uzubillah, may Allah save us from that kind of condition where we are doing something sinful, or maybe we're eating and then we left this dunya, or we were arguing and we left this dunya, or we did something and then when we wake up on the day of judgment, on the day of resurrection, because there's a hadith, and I will end it with that because we're running out of time, that whenever whoever wakes up, they will be doing the very thing that they died for. For example, Rasulullah made someone alive, and when he made someone resurrected again, and that person behaved in a certain way, he said, "Where is my camel? Where is my camel?" So the son who asked the Prophet to make him alive said maybe he's gone mad, Ya Rasulullah. No, Rasulullah says that no, he died looking for his camel. So when he's alive, Allah keeps that very last memory in his mind of where his camel is. So dear brothers and sisters, I hope you've enjoyed the program, and I hope this has been a program that you've been able to learn something from this. Everything starts from the stomach. Any bad habits, they start from the stomach. Any good habits, they start from the stomach. Any illnesses, also they start from the stomach. You can find from nutritionists and those that are dealing with the health and food, they will inform you that any type of illnesses may mostly start with what we eat and how we eat. And if we control our diets, we not only control our health,